What's up, YouTube? This is Vernacular TV. If you like the content that I'm producing, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Today, I would like to have a discussion about utilizing African American subculture as a mechanism for survival in the hood. Drifted across the Atlantic, returned just to see my brothers and sisters. When I migrated from Africa to the United States, and once I landed in the United States, I realized living in this country is a whole different beast. You're dealing with a whole different beast. Moving to the projects, I had to learn a lot of things. I had to learn to adapt to my environment. And the environment at times was very harsh because this environment was driven by poverty. When you move to the hood and when you come from Africa and you just move straight to African American, their hoods, the different hoods that they got around the nation, when you just move to a hood, a project, you realize that this is a whole different mindset. This is a whole different structure that you're dealing with. But you got to survive. As you begun to go to school with your brothers and sisters, your distant brothers and sisters here, you see the division that amongst them and their family, the division that is in the community, the warring amongst each other. You start to realize this is a whole different beast. This is a whole different beast to contend with. But utilizing African American subculture for survival, man, got deeply into hip hop. Love hip hop. You know, the rhythm, the beat, the wordplay. You know what I'm saying? The material element, the aspect of materialism, vicariously living through, celebrity, vicariously living through the material culture for our relevancy within the society. It's a whole different beast. But as you live in the hood, you learn the different games, You learn how, dudes are beefing with one another that went to high school together. I never understood it. These dudes, we went to high school together, sat in class together. These dudes were out there killing each other, game banging, knocking on each other. You know what I'm saying? But just living in the hood, trying to survive, learning the different mechanisms, living the different ways of surviving. The no snitching policies. When people can be terrorizing the community, but nobody can tell. It's just a whole different beast. Coming from Africa, not to say Africa is perfect, by no means necessary. Africa got so many tribal warring factions that have generationally destroy the continent and keep the colonial power in control of the continent because we are warring and the tribal wars have gone on for thousands of years. So by no means necessary that Africa is any much more better than the United States, but living in the projects is something serious. Utilizing African American subculture to make it through. Listen to Rap City, the Bitch Man, BET 106 and Par with Free and AJ. Just learning all the different rhymes, learning all the different, different styles and stuff like that, trying to make it through. The American girls, they love that shit, you know what I'm saying? They love that ignorant shit, they love a bad boy persona, you know what I'm saying? They don't want no young man who got heads on his shoulders straight. They want niggas thugging, So, started to feed into that stuff, man. Hanging out with niggas, you know what I'm saying, who were about that business, you know what I'm saying? But I was out there just utilizing the culture for survival. I didn't want to live in no hood, but many times when you come from Africa, that's the only place you can afford. So you move to the hood. So you learn about our distant brothers, African American brothers and sisters. You learn about their behavior pattern. You say, why is so much tension within the family, the black family? Then you start to come to a realization, when you start to learn the historical backdrop of the nation and what has happened, over a period of time, post World War II, the government started to create these projects to study black people as projects, or put them in projects, so you can study them. It called it affordable on housing, but living in the projects, you are steady. Your every move, the government can steady you. So you start to learn. You start to understand, man, the historical backdrop of my brothers and sisters in this country has been tough. It's been terrible. The war on drugs, I broke the black family down completely. Completely. You see the attitude problems in the youth, the under-resourced schools that we attended. You start to realize that this is some of the problems that African American facing in this country. So when you come here as an immigrant, you kind of fall victim to this stuff. You got to be able to work your way from up out of it. Because this society is meant to entrap you. Many young black males that I came to this country with, they're either in jail or being deported back home. You know what I'm saying? So using African American subculture to survive. The subculture, i.e. hip hop, i.e. the slings, affiliation with different individuals just to survive, just to make it through the hood. But with your mind and your thinking, you can come up out of anything. With your mind and your thinking, you can come up out of anything, And education is very important. Education is very important, Very, very important. Because I was always interested in learning. So I was always persevering, always pushing through because, I wanted to be somebody. Even though when I was living in the hood, I was still thinking about being somebody, I had a lot of African American friends. These dudes are some of the smartest dudes out there, man. Very intelligent, math genius. But when we was in school, man, these brothers would be afraid to show their math talent. Some of them went on to be somebody. I got a friend of mine who teaching at an Ivy League school right now. He come from the hood. You know what I'm saying? So using African American subculture just to make it out of the condition in which you was put in as an immigrant. This country is a beast. My brothers and sisters over here, a lot of them are still in the mind state that is detrimental, to their development. The subculture of just hip hop, of being gangsterism, of a thug or something like that. It's not always the case of the young black male in this country. So many African American young men go on to be doctors, lawyers, go on to be somebody. But that subculture, that is just, this is us, this is how we are, this is our behavior. It's not acceptable because we are not monolithic in our thinking. Black people are not monolithic in their thinking, in their ambitions, in their aspirations. So when you come to this country as an immigrant, you realize you're dealing with a whole different beast. And you got to use that subculture if you are going to survive, depending on which environment you were placed in by your monetary status. Some African come over here, they got money so they can move up into better neighborhood and get better education. Some come here and fall victim to poverty, to this society, to welfare, to all these things that are going on within the country. But utilizing African American subculture to make it out the hood. You know what I'm saying?